大家好，欢迎来到郑哥哥的频道。这次的规则跟国内比赛的规则差不多，不一样的就是每个干员只能使用2次。看来双砖获胜制就是这次烽火世界赛的规则，既考验选手对比赛地图的理解，也考验选手对干员的熟练度。双砖杀死比赛确实能增加观赏性。总决赛参赛的选手都打了2周半的预选赛，存活下来的队伍，卫冕冠军法国队和西班牙职业队都在我之前的视频出现过。这次法国队伍卫冕成功，而且是双砖夺冠。打过职业的你们一定知道这有多难，全程战斗不断。那么一起来看一下法国队伍的夺冠之路。制作不易，请投币3连。
We're going to watch out for it today as well, where a brick will get stolen just to prevent a team from decoding that mana brick before they can get out of the map. Because that's the thing. Game timer, mantle brick timer, lots of conversation, lots of thoughts. But it's time to get into the very first game of the day. If you've got questions, feel free to ask them. We're on quite a bit of a delay, but I will still answer them as we go. As we take a quick look at our first team here, this is going to be Overgear on screen. And Tiff, I'm so pumped about Zero Dam. It's good to be back.
It really is, and I love that you were able to break everything down regarding the intricacies of our Mandel bricks. But as a friendly reminder, while our teams are starting to kind of get their bearings straight and where they're going to be spawning in on Zero Dam, no Mandel brick here, okay? They will have an airdrop in the maps that do not have a Mandel brick, so keep your tabs on that. You won't see it occur for at least 6 minutes into the first map here.
Yeah, good shout. Now, already it looks like some bit of action on the other side of the map. Zap taking down, it looks like a Nooksy, and I think that's actually a full wipe off screen. We just got into the map, and all of a sudden, people were fighting immediately on the other side. Looks like Zap and Co. have picked up a initial team wipe and are going to quickly get some kills, and that's probably also going to be over there on the right-hand side. That looks like it's going to be in the admin side of things. So as we watch Overgear get into the mix here around Cement Plant, looks like admin was active, Saeed taken down, and Zap and Co. Good to go.
Kind of unfortunate there, but as we kind of peruse through Les Gironds on your screen, mind you guys, Season 1 Delta Force Global League for Europe Operations winners. But we changed the format. They struggled through the semifinals. They got in 3rd place and now are here to play. Of course, you've got that Luna, you've got that Stinger, you have the Byron. But the cool part about this is, Goes, you were talking in the semifinals that the operators that went the quickest were Stinger and Luna. And so far, we're seeing kind of how people are going to be utilizing them. It's like, do you burn the favorite picks right off the rip? Because we know how valuable detection arrows can be.
Yeah, it is a really good question. And I think as we get into the nuance of this, again, you can take a look at the right-hand side of your screen. Les Durance is at 2.1 mil from this match, by the way, already. So they've picked up the loot from their opponents. They had a decent amount of sizable good loot. And they've picked up whatever loot they found on Saeed, I believe, in some of these chests here. So good job for them to take over admin. But I think the operator question is a good one. As we take a quick look at the map, I think some of these teams are going to be prioritizing whatever is best for the map they're on, 1, and then 2, if it's a Mandel Brick round. They really need to make sure that on the Mandel Brick rounds, they've got a good operator choice to be able to play defensive for some of this decode. But a look at the map, it looks like Madre and Les Durance is about to engage, and that's the vision here that Les Durance had. We saw them, Madre, obviously in purple. It looks like Odd spotted them from a distance, maybe with that recon arrow, and has been peeking that corner and holding it. It might be a stalemate for a little while as we've just gotten into this game.
Hey, but I'm okay with that, because if you think about it, they already took out RVG, which is your top squad from semifinals A. And if they're going to take down Madre here, the top team from semifinals B, you really run the risk of kind of just getting out to a good start, jumping ahead of them. Although, no Mandel bricks this round, but maybe you want to get your loot value up so that you can kind of go into the later rounds heavily equipped.
A good shout. Again, that leaderboard's going to live update on the right-hand side. So if you see names jumping around, it's because they're gathering up some loot. Looks like maybe LSP found a decent loot on them, but right now, again, these players aren't bringing in crazy kits comparatively, right? So if you're seeing, this is only a purple weapon or something like that, it's because they only had 1 million to start with. A nuanced format where it's risky to bring in 1 million Technic Alloy worth of gear, because if you lose it, all you get is a little bit of some match compensation to make sure you have something to work with next round, but it's going to be maybe blue ammo for you. We'll see. Madre taking it slow as well. I mean, Tiff, this is par for the course. So I'm waiting kind of on, honestly, waiting to see who makes the first mistake.
Ooh, I don't like saying mistakes, right? We do already have one team out, so maybe slight mistake there, but back on board, just kind of with that information gathering. I love that we're being conservative in this initial round. We have that litmus test of what we're going to potentially be seeing. Of course, you can see Madre across the doorway and down the hall there, which is fine, right? We get that information, they don't, which is why they're constantly using their recon operators, playing off the audio cues and seeing what we can do to attack them. Now, we've got the Nox on the other side for Madre, which I think is brilliant, right? We saw him get introduced not just before Tempest, and how great his kit is for those stealthy flanks. So I think it's really keen to keep an eye on potential pushes for that, but they're not going to know they have Nox unless they're using and watching the prior semifinals of what Madre and information they can gather.
Yeah, good call. Everybody will be able to see afterwards what people used, but during, you have to catch a glimpse of some of these operators to know. And right now, again, this is going to be a slow play. I think one of the things that we expected to see was, especially early in this map, a slower gameplay loop. But I think what probably happened to RVG is that they just sprinted for admin, which is, hey, we can all relate to that. I know you all in the chat do the same. And L'Esperance just caught them unaware. It was so quick, we didn't even get there in time. You can see down below Madre, by the way, in the tunnels, it looks like Project Lane is nearby, but they're not going to get active necessarily. They hear the footsteps, they know there's people above them, they know where these players are, and it looks like actually L'Esperance found an angle, was able to knock one. This could be a signal flare to make a push here, especially with a Viren. They're going to be able to move pretty quickly. Zap might be taking lead here with Viren is what I would expect, Tiff. Maybe throw a couple magnetic bombs in there, try to find the angle. They're going to try to go for this res, but he's actually in a bad spot. I'm not sure what happened on the Madre side. I don't know if he's going to be able to get revived.
Yeah, this is wild because you've got the smoke grenade, you've got the frag from Luna, you've got all of the things here to keep that pressure on. You can even throw down the damage. You grab a knock, you look for the full, and quite frankly, let's see what they've got, because you're going to claim some more gear for yourselves and deny that from other people.
L'Esperance picking up one here is huge. Looks like Madre's traded one back. A nice hold by Nemaranth here. This is going to at least give them a moment to breathe and try to make a play and a little maybe outplay here. Viren sneak around the corner. They're going to hear this for sure. But throwing down the knockdown could be helpful. Doesn't connect, so he's going to back off. Could have been a dynamic move, but Nemaranth gets cut down, holding the off angle, and now all of a sudden, Linux, who was trying to make a hero play, is now slightly out of position, trying to swing around for the revive. And L'Esperance is going to do the same thing. So they are going to both get their revives. Almost hero play from Linux. That would have been gross.
Yeah, I'm saying, look, if you're going to hit that dynamic propulsion, but no! Oh, watch out, Zap. Zap is coming in. We don't get the res off, and Lennox just has to try and hold on.
This is a genius play from L'Esperance.
Oh.
Just trying to pressure this. He doesn't even actually want the fight. He's pressuring to make sure he doesn't get the revive. And now that they're all three stacked, he can play for it. Gets one, gets two, getting it all three. Getting it all three. He runs out of ammo, swings around the corner, eventually gets traded out. Holy cow. Linux, you were almost a hero once, and a second time, you truly were a hero, trading almost all three. If he just had a bit more ammo in that clip, or maybe hit a couple headshots, he wins a 1v3 holding that angle. Genius. But guess what? We're just now getting into the mix. I told you Project Lane was nearby. They were in the tunnels, and they were going to get involved if something happened. They heard a lot of shots, and now all of a sudden, Project Lane pressuring L'Esperance. L'Esperance about to start with a massive map if they can get out of here and stay alive against Project Lane, Tiff.
Keyword, if they can get out. You do see we've got a little bit of a regain here on the other side of things, but I'm thinking of Lennox still, right? Would there have been the magnetic bomb available to try and break up some of that 1v3? But even at 2 HP and a reload, it almost came through. But I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Project Lane, kind of biding their time, getting stuff together for that initial push. But Nox, Odd, and then you have Zap out there dealing with some of the AI on the screen, and that's fine, right? Especially around this building, because if you don't take them down, you could run the risk of just taking a couple rogue bullets from them, and they can really be a deterrence in your fights.
Yeah, right now, Listerance on their back foot a little bit, trying to figure out where do we go from here. I think the key, and nice find, gold helmet, that'll do. But I think the key thing for Listerance right now is just trying to get some information on Project Lane. This is something we talk about all the time. Like, obviously, information in operations is everything. Information is power. And it's pretty obvious they don't exactly know what part of the map Project Lane's at. Project Lane's also not trying to give up their position. You can see Madre Mia fully wiped after that fight. RVG fully wiped after that fight. And that means all they're going to get is whatever's in their safe box, which looks like maybe 68k for Madre Mia. Ooh. And then 350k per player to resupply with, which for those that don't play Operation sounds like a lot. We know most of the guns people bring in are about that cost, so it's not a crazy amount. Really punishing if you do get cut down here.
It's going to be tough, right? Especially when you go into a Mandelbrick round. That's going to be your win condition for our series here today in Europe operations. So make sure. But as we look at the map here, you do have LSP just down there south of Major Substation. You kind of have one out on that rotation. They're sitting on the extract, though. So curious to see if they're just going to say, hey, we looted. We're fine with what we've got. We know there's no Mandelbrick here. And we're setting ourselves up for basic to kind of push through that. But Project Lane, they're still in that picture-in-picture. Cool. Calm, collected, because there's going to be a bit of a heated battle here. I don't imagine they're going to want to walk away from this.
Yeah, and I think, again, you can see Overgear, they're just getting out of here. And I don't hate this. They've got 2.2 mil, which means they got to have found something pretty good, because we really didn't see them in an engagement at all. Obviously, Listerance taking down the two teams that were eliminated. So they looted up 2.2 mil and said they were happy with that, and they're getting out of this map. So Overgear out. They've all extracted. Madre Mia, RVG, full dead. Pay attention. Again, we feel like we just got started. We've got an angle here. Unfortunately, doesn't connect on many of those shots. SMG from distance bounces just a hair too much. Pay attention to that clock on the left-hand side, folks. We're already at less than 5 minutes remaining to get out of this map. You might have had a good map. You might have found some kills, and you'll get a little bit of rewards from that. Both of these teams really want to get out of this map, as LSP has looted up TIFF and found 3.3 mil.
Huge. Look. I'll take all of that if you can, especially if you're going to go in geared up. But you can see another extraction point is going to come through and be active now. But still, keeping tabs on Project Lane. Look, they're going to burn not only a Viren, but a D-Wolf and a Nox operator. You only get to use them twice throughout the entire tournament. And if you feel comfortable with making sure that those picks go out first, sure.
Yeah, and I think everybody really wanted to start off with like a good map, but knowing this isn't a Mandelbrick round, I don't know that I would burn a Stinger this early. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of nuance to it. We can talk a little bit more about that during the break, because this is going to be a battle for this extraction. The dam lever was pulled. The dam extraction is really the only option for this team that we know of right now. I'd love to get a quick glance at the map if the fight isn't going crazy, to see if we can take a look at some other extraction points. I know there is no backpack extract, a weight limit extract, but I think this team might have to play for this dam extract versus Project Lane. It's risky, though. Listerance has everything in their inventories, and Project Lane's going to get out with a little bit less than 1 million. So if giving away this dam extract means that Project Lane gets out, not a big deal for Listerance. It's really a question if Listerance can find somewhere else to extract from, and I think they're deciding we got to get into the mix.
Yeah, you really have to be cautious here, especially when you have 3 minutes left on the map. It doesn't matter how much work that you've put into this if you can't take it out. Sure, you're going to get some technical alloy for the amount of kills that you have, which is 6. A ton of value there. But keep tabs on where we're looking. See that countdown. It's going to happen. But LSP, honestly, are they going to make a rotate and everyone is going to culminate around the extract?
1,000%. I mean, everybody's looking, how do we get out of this map in the next 2 minutes? The only thing active, the dam extract in 2 minutes. It's going to end right before our in-game timer. I think there's about a 20-second spread between these two clocks. This is going to be a fight for the dam extract. How many of you all have been here on Zero Dam fighting for this extract? I know I have many, many times. I don't hate this position. Something we've seen often with this dam extract is having one person kind of on the flank inside, held up on boxes, but it sounds like Terry's gotten a bit of information that maybe LSP's also in the area. We've got 3 teams fighting over the dam extract that leaves in 1.5 minutes. Talk about utter chaos. Look at where Bibic is, though. Project Lane's got that one on the flank up in those crates. Could be a huge play from him if he's extremely patient. Got to pay attention to this clock, though. He might not have the loot value that this team has. He might not be worried about getting out, Tiff.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, if we're going to be using our Crouching Tiger at this point and see if it connects, that'll give you information and maybe a moment for you to kind of dynamic propulsion straight into there and make a play, but keep tabs on it. You can see right now we're already losing health and one down, but we get a trade. Can we keep going through? Project Lane, though. Terry, okay, I love that energy out of you.
Yeah, this is utter chaos on the other side, and it's Bibic finally coming in for the flank. Trying to play cleanup of Lesterance, just keeping his team alive. 45 seconds, and Nox is the only player left on Stinger alive for this Project Lane team. Gonna get into the mix. Lesterance is out of here. Project Lane wins the gunfight, wins the fight, wins the map as well, and gonna get out of this map as long as they don't waste too much time looting. A little bit of chaos there in that final fight, but it was a perfect execution from Bibic. I love this Project Lane play to say, listen, stay outside. I don't even care if you end up not getting to the extraction point in time. Stay outside and be our cleanup man. And that's exactly what happened. A perfect execution. LSP and Lesterance both fought each other first. They end up at least getting a couple of those bodies weeks. And so it's pretty easy cleanup for Project Lane to get the overall win. Yeah, and honestly, one of the things we talk about in these competitions... Oh, and there's a first encounter. I'll come back to it. Overgear has found an angle on RVG. Not an angle that they can clean up, though. So they're going to probably get this revived, but at least an armor crack is going to be nice. A lot of information here. It's going to get all three on this Hatclaw hunt. He's got him tracked down, playing stairs, and it looks like their opponent's going to give up the stairs and try to relocate to their teammates. I don't think this is the right idea because look at Darkerson. Picks up one in transition. RVG can't get anything going right now as they clean up one. That's going to be a full knock on one, so it's going to be a 3v2 if they decide to push this fight. And as long as they do it together as a team of three, they should win this. RVG is not going to go down quietly. They really need to make sure they stay alive here, folks, because you got to remember, if you die in this map, you lose your gear and you don't have it going into the next one. You do get some compensation afterwards, but the teams that get out with a lot of loot are going to have a lot of advantages going forward, so it's even more important you stay up.
You also have to remember, this is the first time we're seeing RVG actually get to play the game. They were out in the first minute in game number 1. So already losing one player can shake things up for them, but it's to be expected. We thought this fight was going to occur, and Overgear is poised and ready to take it, especially if you've got numbers in your advantage. You're using basically Hatclaw here to figure out what's going on with the other teams. What kind of operators are we working with and the abilities that we need to be aware of? But they're doing it in such a poised way. But back for more is going to be RVG. And they're sticking together. Look, I love that. Strength in numbers. It makes sense if you can play trades, especially when you don't have that in your advantage.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody... a great breakdown and a really tough fight for RVG. They do trade one out. One goes down, and they get a full trade on one. So we lose one player on the side of Overgear. It's a 2-for-1 trade. Not ideal for RVG. Can I maybe grab this body and put it in a position where he could go for the revive, especially because he doesn't hear Overgear's teammates nearby? Because there actually was a double knock. Darkerson knocked interior by maybe Prometheus. I don't know what's happening. I think this is going to be a tough one. RVG is probably going to get cut down. What you didn't see while we were watching this fight, and you did if you were watching the map closely, I know you operation gurus out there saw it. Madre Mia picked up the mantle brick, and now you can tell on our leaderboard, they've got it decoding already, so RVG in absolute trouble. Overgear has lost one as well. They're going to go ahead and pick this up just to make sure they get all three alive. But Madre Mia in a position to potentially take our first mantle.
This is tough. I mean, we're doing it with 6 HP, so keep tabs on it. Look where Madre went.
Dang.
Straight to camp. They put the read on it. Legerance, who was situated there above market, assuming maybe they were going to push that way. No, they went all the way over towards the east, and camp it is. LSP's trying to cover that distance and get over there, and Legerance have been filtering in through the top. And honestly, if we see that double swarm, you've just got to keep an eye on the timer, right? We're at about 11 minutes left in the map, and if you want to start shaking things up, well, do it right towards the end.
Looks like, of course, like you mentioned, Sara Camp, where the decoding's going down. Everybody can see that as well. They can look at their map and see exactly where Madre Mia has taken this brick. They've got it on the decoding station, likely with a couple minutes still remaining, as LSP and Lesterance are probably going to engage. Overgear has fully revived their team, all three up, likely going to be able to re-kit back up and be full health, all armor back alive, going into whatever fight is next for them. 3 kills is great. But Mandelbrick is nearly everything. We got to watch out for Madre. Love to swap over and see what those timers are at. Even though this fight may be happening shortly, got to pay attention to that decoding timer.
All right. And we're just got scouting. We're making sure that we can do as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, it looks like, I was looking for the timer. It looks like they've actually scattered. You can see where the decoding is. You don't see that timer unless you're right next to the decoding station. And they've actually separated way out to this other side, trying to find the angle that people would approach this decoding station. And as long as they have somebody, it looks like maybe their third would have vision on the decoding station. Yeah, there's the off angle. As long as you got vision on the decoding station, they've got one kind of on the backside. Potentially, this is a pretty good setup. The only thing you got to pay attention to, watch out for the Blackhawk in the sky. Might start shooting at you. But everybody compiling, congesting. I mean, every team going for this Mandelbrick decoding station. Madre Mia just praying that they move too slowly.
I'm nervous. I really am. Because even Project Lane's looking to get involved. They were just chilling, vibing down there. And next thing you know, Mandelbrick says, hey, and they're making their way up. So if you're hitting that big sandwich and basically Madre Mia is the meat in the middle, being pressured not only by Legerant from the north, you can see about 10 HP, and well, Luna wants to cook that frag grenade, make sure we can make something happen, and this is gonna be tough. A little vision obstructed, but we're still alive.
Utter chaos right now, but Madre Mia's picked up 2 knocks on LSP. There's only 1 LSP player left, but look on the right-hand side. Legerant has stolen the decode. They've got the Mandelbrick in hand, and as LSP is fully wiped and others in trouble, Overgear down 1, Project Lane down 1, Legerant has control of the decoding station. This is what I was worried about Madre Mia's setup. They didn't have enough vision on the decoding station to hold it down. It is in Legerant's hands right now, and the question is, who does it end up with? As it does look like Madre Mia. This guy, Nemerith, finds all of the angles. Where did he spot that player from? A fantastic pick. I don't think he's going to get the cleanup, but even still making Overgear sweat profusely as they have a second player down on the Overgear side, and Project Lane has lost one as well.
Ooh, but they're looking for a reset here, and now we're hitting the POV from Overgear, hitting the res onto Darkerson. It's smart, right? It's going to keep them from being able to push on over to where Legerons and even Madre are, but the steal is back. Madre Mia says, no way, we're not having that happen. The issue is timing. Keep that in mind. Just below 8 minutes. We still have to be able to finish the decode, especially when the timer gets boosted every time we switch up.
Yeah, they're just trading hands on this decoding station because of its position on the map. It's decently open, and so they've just been popping over, stealing it, and then popping back to reset that timer. So it's going to be at 2:30. Every time you see that Mandelbrick swap hands, 2:30 is the minimum it could be on that clock. So it's going to keep going 2:30 over and over again as they battle for this position. You can actually see the timer on the map right now, counting down from 2:30. Legerant's not in a favorable position to maintain hold over that decoding station. So they stole it to reset the clock, but then backed off to make sure they could play this north side. I think this is the right play. It's just a matter of continuing to pay attention to that 2-minute timer as the remaining 4 teams are all in this area battling for the brick.
Dare I say I'm nervous. Mind you, Madre Mia from semifinals B were able to obtain 1 Mandelbrick. They were the leading team. So keeping tabs on where that is and knowing that Project Lane, sure, they had a lot of success in game number 1, but now that they've finally made it up towards the Asura camp, you've got to deal with Overgear. You're going to have a 3v2 there, but it's going to give you that time that is away from taking back the Mandelbrick. You can only hope that Legerant actually looks for a play, grabs it, boosts the timer, which gives you enough time to finesse around and go for the Mandelbrick as well.
I think that's a really good shot. I wonder what Overgear is able to do. They're basically going to be playing spoiler. They full lost a player, by the way. Not going to be able to get that player back. So you're right. It's going to be a 2v3 no matter what fight they take. Look at that clock, though. I love this view. It is going down quickly, and nobody's been able to make a move yet. Overgear is basically making sure Project Lane can't push up towards this point, playing the backside. Project Lane now is going to swing on this potentially and open up this fight with Madre, which should be the signal flare. Overgear can come in behind, and guess what? Our NPCs in the skies are getting into the mix as per the usual. I'm telling you, this helicopter always shows up at the worst time for everybody and just is harrying, shelling the ground as the teams fight. Lesterance coming in the backside of Madre Mia. Project Lane pushing forward from the front side. Madre Mia in the pinch right now. They got to figure out how are we going to address both angles at the same time. One way is to get a little bit of help. One swing from Madre Mia's third on the off angle. Picks up one from Lesterance, but it's stolen again. Project Lane's the one stealing it as we're trading lives. Project Lane stealing, getting cut down though. Zap has found Madre. It's utter chaos on the map because there's not a lot of time left. Decoding stolen means our timer's back at 2:30. Not quite as urgent. Look at who we've lost though. Project Lane's lost one. Down for a revive. Potentially able to pick it up unless Nemarin is able to find an angle. But on the other side, Lesterance, one down. Madre Mia, one down. Both yellow timers. Don't think they're going to be able to get picked up anytime soon with the amount of bodies in the area.
Look, justice for Terry. That's all I've got to say. Goes down at the helm from the helicopter. So keep tabs on that. We do get the res. We're working on getting healed back to final form. And it's Madre still down to 2. Still looking towards investing the chaos over towards Project Lane after having it ripped from them. But guess who's got it back? This is just a trade of hands and the biggest enemy of them all, time.
Yeah, it's exactly right. I mean, look at where the decoding station is. This is why it's exchanging hands so much. We've got players that are able to sneak over there, steal it, reset it, and then get back to a position where they're not going to die. This is a really smart strategic play to make sure this game continues to where the Mantle can be a play. But right now, the power position, yes, maybe the position is Nemarin. I don't even know if they know he's up here. They should. Ooh. He's been up here a lot, and they definitely do. Over peaks, completely missed that Project Lane had a third player alive. And that's what I was about to say, Tiff. Project Lane has the power position technically because they have player advantage, a massive advantage in a fight like this to have all 3 players up. And they've got Bibic playing this off angle yet again, a perfect setup from a great team.
Last chance to get that.
Okay, well, Project Lane, if you're going to steal it, you need to steal it now because you still have to run all the way north of Brackish Grand Hammam to get to the extraction point. And knowing 47 seconds left right there on the timer.
Yeah, and I think most of these teams, if not all of them, said, you know what? I'm not going to pay attention to loot. I don't need to extract. I just want the brick. Still a tall task with the timer that we've got right now. 30 seconds on the clock right now. Madre technically has the brick in hand, but it's being stolen right now by Project Lane. It should be stolen any moment now, I assume. And as they're on it, Lesterance is going to say, you're not going to get it for free. 20 seconds on the clock. Madre, I think, technically still has the position. They still have the station. It does get decoded the last second. Look at that timer reset. It goes back to 2:30. Madre almost snuck in with a Mandelbrick capture there because Lesterance came in to spoil Project Lane's game. They might have had power position, and they do get it. Elliott on 3 HP takes down another Lesterance player. There is only one alive. It's Nox, able to heal back up on the offside. It is a 1v1v2, and the big question in my mind is, where the heck is Overgear? I think they said, you know what? Let's stay alive. We want our loot value. Just have a chance in the next couple maps. And they're not even around here. If Overgear would have been patient, they might have come in here and third-partied and stole this away from everybody.
I mean, they've got 2 players left, 4 kills. It's still a game, but they've been playing so cautiously. I'm okay with it, but you've got to make big plays when it comes to getting this Mantle brick. You can see Nox just on the other side. He would love to get Zap back up on their feet if they can. He's going to go ahead, stick this res. Just a few more seconds, but look at Project Lane. They do need to recover one of their own as well, but they're so close to the decoding station, and here comes a big battle. It's Elliott. He's going to swing to the side, but look at Legerons adding another kill to their tally, potentially getting the rest of this Mantle brick. It is theirs for the taking, but time. Keep tabs on that, guys, because we still need to see them make it out.
Okay, you all said you wanted some action. You all said you wanted to get a little mixy. Well, welcome to Europe Operations Finals here with Season 2. Good grief. These fights are so fun to watch and so chaotic. But Lesterance, this time around, they come out on top with a sizable amount of kills again, but also the Mantle brick in tow. And I think they've got just enough time. Look at our game timer on the left side. We're going to see Overgear as expected. They're playing slow. They're playing patient. They're going to get out. They said, we don't want any piece of those fights. You can see all of our timers on screen. So you're going to see Overgear get out with about 20 seconds remaining. And you're also going to see Lesterance not get out of the map, but they do get the Mantle brick. So this is the key. This is part of the game that you've got to remember, is that Mantle brick is our first ranking on our leaderboard, then loot value. So dying here, not a timing out rather, not getting to an extraction point, not that big of a deal. Now it does look like Nox maybe says, I think everybody's gone. I'm going to see if I can make it. And I think it's going to be really close. Could potentially get to that north extraction point in time. As Zap says, I don't really have too much on me. I'm going to make sure we get this brick. And we do.
Run, baby, run. Look, you got to do it, right? Especially if you can maybe hand Nox over some things. Be like, look, I want to preserve this. I think this is better off in your hands. Maybe you make that run. But you can see Overgear, 12 seconds left. They're going to make it out with just about 20 seconds to spare. Brilliant job for Overgear. But I do love a good Mandel brick. So congratulations to Le Charant.
Yeah, a huge win for them. Obviously, you can see, if you can kind of squint your eyes a little bit, you can see some of those loot values. We'll get a read on it after we get back to the lobby. It looks like Overgear, yet again, was able to get out to somewhere around the neighborhood of, 3 to 4 million overall. It looks showing about 2.6 or so between two players that are able to get out. And Zap, I think he gets out.
But not
barely? Yeah, that's hilarious. Nox gets cut down and Zap gets out. But overall, Tiff, talk about, and it's time to take a look at the map we're heading to next, which of course is brackish yet again, but it is round 3, which means, folks at home, we will not have a Mandel brick this round. And so, Tiff, I turn my question to you. Without a Mandel brick this round, teams are going to be focused on what? I guess just maximizing loot value to kind of prepare for the next one?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to see people fighting. So you want people to not get their loot value out of it. So think back to what we saw from Le Charant. They put up 6 kills by the entirety of mid-zero dam. So let's dive into it. I'm ready to see what's going to happen here. Friendly reminder, no Mandel brick this round. There will be an airdrop, I believe, that spawns 6 minutes into the map and maybe 9 as well. But let's check in with our map overview. This time you've got RVG and LSP down there near the new Tower of Babel. And well, quite unfortunate for them because RVG has just been the victim of so many other teams here thus far.
The good news is, folks, is that it only takes 1 brick to jump you up this leaderboard dramatically and 2 to win. So you could be having the worst day of your life in operations. If you get 1 brick, hey, you're still there. You still got an opportunity. You still got an opportunity to make a sizable amount of cash. But you're right. LSP, RVG, probably the first encounter we'll see. They decide to fight each other. We're going for loot, though. It's a really interesting conversation because we've seen both strategies work. Overgear, they have been basically taking the we get out of the map, that's all we care about. And I might come back to it as Project Lane has spotted Les Charants yet again. I was wrong, Tiff. Les Charants is going to be the first ones to maybe engage for the 3rd map in a row. So as much as I thought it was the other 2 teams in New Tower of Babel, it looks like maybe several fights happening at the same time. Looks like a massive play from Viren. This is why Viren is so valuable. Swings around the corner. Terry picks up 1. Lesterant's down a player. Gets traded out, though, and Bibic low. We've got Zap alive and Nox alive. Nox a bit weak. They're going to back off of this fight. It's a 1-for-1 trade thus far. Overall, fairly even, as there's another encounter happening off-screen between Madre and Overgear. We'll get to that later. This is a huge fight for the team that's at the top of the leaderboard.
Here we go with the shoulder peek, and we're gonna knock 1, goes for 2, and Zap is crazy with Nox having his back, immediately getting that res, and the reset coming in for Le Charant. This is why Nox and Zapok are both 1-for-1 on the MVP race.
But I doubt most of these teams decided to go for that as we swing to another fight. I thought this was going to be our first encounter, Tiff. RVG in trouble yet again, this time on the backs of LSP.
Ooh, okay. Can we get the reset here onto Darkus before they decide to push down the hallway? We've got some utility going out to try and give us a little bit of a reprieve. And look at that. Wazdet hits the flank, hits the knock, hits the full. Okay, good. Now it's in a 3v2.
Living up to his name, RVG, W4S dead. Making sure he's able to pick up a full kill on a player on the side of LSP. As you all well know, I'm sure. Got the red timer, you're crawling around. The yellow timer, you are full dead, counts as a kill, and it takes a lot longer to revive. So this is a huge boon for RVG to make sure they have player advantage going into this fight if they decide to swing down on it. This stairs is going to be a tough fight to kind of swing on. It could all go together, but we know what happens sometimes. You body stack, everybody's getting cut down. 45 rounds as well. This is going to be a tough fight, to be honest.
I love that Anuxi's just kind of situated up there. He's like, listen here, Darkus. You kind of hit the shoulder peak, you start investing the nades and making sure that we can find maybe any early damage and just kind of keep pushing them back, which is brilliant, right? But we saw how aggressive Legerance got, and maybe RVG is sick of being pushed around from the initial games. So with Wesdead kind of holding their back, I think this is where we can see it. But who's going to peak first? And it looks like LSP might get aggressive.
LSP was playing stairs. They still are kind of... Got one peeking stairs down below. Really, RVG needs to have some sort of utility connect to where they have advantage here, because LSP is going to get first shots 100% and likely first knock as well. So although it is player advantage, Tiff, it's like positionally, I actually prefer LSP's position as long as they don't give it away. This could take a while. These teams don't want to die.
Cooldowns. Keep the cooldowns. You've got the tactical flashbang, whirlwind disc coming back, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if those are the things we start seeing. Whirlwind disc goes out.
A little early. I mean, it's a 45-second cooldown on whirlwind disc. I don't know. I mean, if you connect, it's like you're not going to push the stairs. I don't know.
But it says, hey, we can see it explode after a short time. So I'm ready for it. Like, put me in, coach. Especially if you got the triple blaster going up with the angles here. LSP is trying to create an opening. And hello, Verstappen. We are trying to pick you up and go for the great escape.
Talking about the great escape. What a wild play. LSP going for the body, and they're going to get punished for it. RVG flashbang to 1,000,000, but it doesn't matter. They are out of here. LSP goes for I guess it's a hero play for the teammate. No man left behind. Tries to snap the body and run and gets punished for it. That was almost comedic with the way he turned around and just started sprinting down the stairs. So far, 2 teams down from 2 engagements. We could see half the lobby wiped here if Overgear decides to get aggressive. Completely lost helmet, though, here for Darkerson. So it's going to play this pretty slow. Prepare this really quick, especially as Helicopter comes in and says, no, think twice before you take fights, because you might catch a missile to the face. Oh, I love it.
It's the timing, right? It's like, oh, hey, airdrop coming in. Don't worry, so is our heli. We are going to wreak havoc on it. So things will be difficult, but that's okay, because we just bunker up, look for some angles, but back on board here with Madre, who's just across from Overgear. Now, mind you, if we don't have that angle, right? Overgear has a bit of a high ground and a stellar angle through that front door of the building. So you're looking to see, hey, is anyone going to flank us through the windows? Are we going to be sieged upon? And how much time do we have to make something? Because we're about to be halfway through this second map of Brackish.
Now, Listerance, of course, technically in the lead overall because they've got a mantle brick. In terms of loot value, Overgear is at the top. You can see that right side number all the way on the right is their overall loot value. And yet again, by the way, Nemereth is different, always finding the angles. And speaking of angles, had the high ground, but just missed a few early shots. And Linux yet again stays alive with 1 HP in a dream, knocking a second player on Overgear. They're going to go for an immediate revive, which means everybody's going to swing on this. Maybe can get it off and get some help as they miss the stairs. They do get it off, but it doesn't matter. Nemereth comes in and says, not today, boys. You're not getting out of map number 3. Overgear, their first full wipe of this competition. But wow, it looks like RVG, again, they found great loot. They got some jewels and they got the bust of Claudius. RVG in their bag right now, looting all of the Tower of Babel, finding some great stuff, lighters, some Pirate's Gold. Not a bad loot day here for my friend W4S Dead.
Yeah, but this is what we were talking about. They had to do this, right? They got early evicted out of game number 1. They lost that initial fight in game 2. Not only were we potentially in shambles here.
Still on the map, RVG and Madre could decide to fight each other. And that's exactly what's happening. We've sent R4S Dead out. As a reminder, you could use that double tags like you had said. So double tags and gone. Got out with a decent amount of loot. The other two, though, looking for another extraction point. And they've run into the wrong end of Nemereth and co.
Off the back of the triple blaster. Big cooldown there. But it's okay. Because 28 seconds to go before we go ahead and head on out of here. They just have to keep RVG for trying to get closer. And I love our head peak on top of the storage container that we're working with.
Yeah, this is a fight we saw in the semifinals often. It was on this extraction point. Some covering fire, some warding shots. Hey, nice canister. Decent loot there before you can get out of the map. 5 seconds of counting. Madre's going to get out with a couple million apiece. It's like 1.4 on Linux right now.
And they preserved it to make it happen.
Device is located. Get
The mail brick can be picked up, and both of these teams won it. You can see Project Lane, again, this is the exact same flow from before.
find it.
Mana Brick's been picked up by Lestrance, and they go on the move immediately. They've got that threat level detector now. It looks like it is going to be Zap carrying it. And as they grab it, they start sprinting immediately. Project Lane, they did this last time on Zero Dam. If you remember, obviously not a Mana Brick round, but they came up through the tunnels underneath with the new expansion that happened last, I think a couple patches ago at this point, under Zero Dam to try to get into the mix. Zaphok and Co say, we don't want any of that. We're going to swing way over to the right-hand side and immediately throw this into a decoding station. You see that timer immediately go to 4 minutes. They got 4 minutes on the clock. 4 minutes to win this tournament.
Well, if you're going to go to parking lot, you might as well hit it up. And now you've got to think about what our defense strategy is going to look like, okay? You've got Luna, so you're going to get information via the detection arrow. You can use the Volt arrow to keep the pressure. Now you have to manage those cooldowns, but you have to be able to thread it through the doorways. And of course, not only that, but Overgear spawned over towards the eastern side, over by the mountainside, before making their way up north. They're going to get involved here. Project Lane, they're here. So is LSP. But I love that Madre is going to actually be that kind of barrier to help out Lejeron.
Here we go. The first player down, LSP, catching the wrong end of the stick from Project Lane. He gets Shepard up to potentially throw some cover. Engineer helping with the Luru, putting deployable cover out. It's not going to help too much, though. Immediately gets blown apart. Project Lane, with the advantage, is pushing the equation. Tons of equipment usage here to try to help the team out, but we've lost 2 from LSP. And this is just the beginning of the chaos that's going to be happening on this map. Project Lane swings, loses 1, but immediately trades it out. Nice free win there for Project Lane as they get another win, and LSP unfortunately cut down yet again, our first team out of this map.
Look, Project Lane may have burned through their Nox utilization in the earlier games, but you know what they still have? Those epic flanks. I love that they were able to get behind enemy lines, do some cleanup crew, and well, goodbye, LSP. Madre Mia, though, still in a neighboring vicinity. They know exactly what they need to do, and they're going to bide their time. They want to get right back to what Lejeron did to them. So keep tabs on it. Remember, Lejeron's ripped the Mandel brick from Madre Mia back in map number 2 on Brackish. So now we'll have to see. But Overgear, they're here first.
They're here first, and they're trying to find where are these players at. Oh, I see a laser. Overgear knows. They say, found you. They can steal the brick technically, but the problem is this setup is wild inside. It looks like Lestrance was knocked here without aim on the other right angle. Using Viren, got the knockdown and the cleanup. That's a full kill on one player of Lestrance. And a nice peek through the window. Lestrance says, Zap says, I am the Frenchman. I am here to win. Got a lot of fans in the chat, and they're going to get active. Zap goes swinging around the corner. Tags 1, gets 1 low, gets the kill, takes out the third. No, the third gets the win. Overgear on top, but a trade from Lestrance. They win the encounter. They win the fight. Overgear is out of here. This has got to be a signal flare for Madre to get involved, and here they are. The third party looking for these players. Problem is they're on the other side in the other compartment, the other garage, and Madre is going to swing on them with player advantage. Lestrance in deep trouble.
Oh, Zapok finally getting some health regen, but we're still in a 2v3 situation. We saw how aggressive they got with that dynamic propulsion there from Viren, but Madre Mia, if they would have gotten here just 10 seconds sooner, it would have been different, but we make the entry, and 2 go down Nemrith with a flank. Come on, can we do it? Angles are not in your favor, and the jump is the 1v2. Lejeron's, you're insane.
Lejeron's player disadvantage doesn't matter. How many people does it take? Send them all. Let them come. Doesn't matter. We want all of the action. Project Lane trying to sneak in here and just steal the Mandel brick away. The timer's gotta be insanely close. Nobody's been able to steal the decode. It's gotta have like 60 seconds or less on it at this point. 20 seconds remaining. He's got to make a play right now, or Lesterance is going to win this tournament right here, right now. We will play out the map because it matters for everybody else. But Lesterance is about to win in 4, and they pick up the one flanker. Can't make it in time. 7 seconds and counting on the clock. Project Lane from the other side with the Luna trying to get some information, but they get traded out. Lesterance cannot be taken down. They are inevitable. They are unstoppable. They're going to get the mantle brick, and they're going to win this entire tournament in 4 games. They don't need Space City. They do it on Zero Dam.
No Mandel bricks in the semifinals, all Mandel bricks here and now. Can you even believe that Project Lane just very quiet and Terry? I see you, but Odd's gonna hit the shoulder peak. I don't even care if we lose that 1v1. It doesn't matter because Zapbox doing the real work on the inside, getting Nox back up on their feet. I can't believe it, Goj. Is this what you expected for Delta Force Global League Season 2 Europe operations? Because I could not.
Here's another fight. I expect Lesterance to win, and unfortunately, they can't do it all. They can't do it every time, but they did enough. Project Lane, this is a gigantic boon for them, and I want to remind everybody for a moment, while we have a chance to breathe, really great stuff from Project Lane, but your champions of the Delta Force Global League Season 2 EU Operations Finals, it's the Frenchmen. Zapok, Odd, Nox, congratulations. Lesterance, Delates on top yet again. Back-to-back champions for Europe's Operations Finals here at the Delta Force Global League. This team was actually Thanos on the map today. Every map was a good one. They only had a couple mistakes throughout the course of the day, but overall, almost a perfect day in the office. Ending this tournament in 4 games is unreal.
Yeah, that is not what I expected. I thought we were going to go the distance. I thought we were going to get to Space City, hit map 6, and just see what was going to happen. And honestly, I didn't even know if a team would get 2 Mandel bricks, but we did see so much congestion and chaos on all of the Mandel bricks. But the fact that Legerance, Dilates clutch it up, hold off, grab 8 kills while defending that Mandel brick, and even with Vivek from Project Lane kind of crouched down, looking to make one of those final pushes, even just being really snaky, didn't matter. Wasn't it enough? Legerance, they did everything and held on to it.
Yeah, they really did. It was so fun to watch, and it was fun to go through this tournament with this style of play. I did all of the semifinals off broadcast, Tiff, and so I watched all of those games. It's 2 semifinals per region, and not one team was able to get 2 Mandel bricks. This is the first time in this format, in these regions, this has ever happened, and they made it look easy, to be frank. I mean, some really good fights, and it showcases the interesting format that this new tournament server operates under, because the other thing you've got to remember about this team is that they were way up there in loot value as well, and like I was mentioning before going into Zero Dam, they likely came in, I mean, obviously came in with some good weapons, came in with some really good gear, so they gave themselves an advantage, and they were able to capitalize on it. Lesterance de la Tesse, inevitable, the best team here, absolutely crushed it. French on top, apparently. Let's take a look back on the map and see how it all set up. You gotta also tip your hat to the RNG gods, if you will. You gotta give a little randomness on their side. They did get the right spawn to get the brick, but then they signal flared to everybody on the map, come and get it. LSP, the only team that wasn't gonna get over there in time to do anything, and so then this fight ensued, and that window peak was unbelievable. Completely changed the trajectory of this map, and probably won them this fight, getting that window peak, getting the kill. This moment right here is what surprised me so much. They had the off angle, they heard Madre coming, and playing that high ground position allowed them to open up this fight, and then this angle through the window again pushed back Project Lane enough to where the brick was going to be able to get decoded in time regardless of the way the rest of the fight mattered. There goes the brick, and now everything else is just icing on the cake, and Project Lane, the only player alive for Project Lane, Terry, is able to win his ones and then win his ones again, and that does save Project Lane, and likely that solo, honestly, it wins them like $3,000 because this fight was much easier in comparison. RVG didn't have a ton of info. They peak with 1, get punished for it. And with player advantage on the side of Project Lane, they just win every single fight, and they do get out of the map with about 10 million. Mr. Zap, but welcome back to the booth for another interview. You interviewed with us, I think, last year because you're returning champions and now back-to-back champions. My man, how does it feel to win it all?
It feels so good, bro. It feels so good. We are against, once more again, champions, bro. French on top. Like I told you last time. I told you we're going to win it twice, Goji. I told you.
Yeah, look, you're right. I believed in you. Semifinals, they were a little bit slow. So I want to follow up with one quick question. What was the difference? What made the difference between semifinals to today? And how were you able to execute like you were today? What was so different? Why were you guys so dominant?
So we practice a lot, like it was practice. We just like put every map, every spawn. We learn the game, like where we spawn, what we need to do. And also, that was finals. So the mentality was not the same in our team. Like it was, we had to play for Mandel Bricks. We had to dominate. We had to play for the win, guys. It's not second place. It's not third place. We play for win. So that's why we did. And I think we just smurfed that final, bro.
You definitely did. Now, okay. I love that you learned all the spawns, but when it came down to Zero Dam, the final point, you could actually win the tournament right there. The Mandel Brick spawns, you're spawning right by it. What do you think you were kind of going through at that moment when you realize we can make this happen? The parking lot, we can decode right there. It's just kind of laying it out almost too easy for you. But then you realize every single team starts to siege you on parking lot, and you guys held tough. We saw one of the nastiest jump peaks right on the opening fight. So talk me kind of through that point in time.
Like, wait, can you repeat your question? Excuse me. I don't get it.
Yeah,
like,
of course. When everyone started coming for you guys when you're decoding, like what's going through your brain at trying to guard the Mandel Brick?
We were so focused on we know at like this point on the yellow building, we know it's gonna be like completely the chaos. So on the paper, we work on some like position we can add, like to try to defend it. And when we get knocked down, we are start to thinking like, it's gonna be tough. But after that, the team from the left push us, and we did insane clutch with me and Dede. And after that, we just like took back position. I was like the other side, so we know it's clear. And I think I killed 2, Dede killed 1. It was crazy fight. We had like, we were so focused on the fight, and it was insane. Like actually, like the fight we did with Dede and like at every game with Nox and Dede was insane. Like it's, I'm so happy about how we played that.
Yeah. And it was so obvious, Tiff, like their chemistry was unbelievable, right? Like I think that was what was so cool to me was y'all's chemistry is just so clean. You played all of your trades perfectly. I want to follow up with Tiff's question, and I want to actually ask a similar one. Talk me also through, because this is what Tiff and I were freaking out about on the booth, was when you spawned in, right the instant you spawned into that map and you were right next to the brick. What were the comms like? What were you saying to each other?
You want the refresh of the comm? It was go. It was just go for the Mandel Brick. We know. Just go. No, at that spawn we had to play for the Mandel. That spawn we had.
100%. No, I get it. I love that. Back-to-back champs, a statement win here. What do you think this message is for the rest of the regions that still have to compete? Like you've got Delta Force Global League, we're going to do North America later, but what does this win kind of announce to all of the regions?
I just want to say shout out to my big friends from North America and Brazil gonna compete like this night. And for all the people in the world, like world is announced, we are damn ready, guys. We are damn ready.
Yeah, I love it, man. This is the first time this tournament format has seen main stage for the European and North American regions will be today. And so everybody's still learning. Everybody's still trying to figure out operator comps. I think the next question while we're waiting on the scores is also from the operator comp side. What'd you think? I mean, the 2 limit, less necessarily metas, I think is going to be the question. It's like when we talk operations, like, oh, we've got a meta. This is what most people usually use. Viren, Luna, Stinger is super helpful, especially if you're, somebody newer to the game and don't want to bring in meds. But in this format, you got to use everything. And I think it comes down to like the comp between the 3 operators you guys decide to choose. What'd you think about that limitation? I mean, we saw every operator on the map today.
Yeah, like my brain is just like spinning when it comes to all the different nuances that come with the operator limit. And what did we see for some of our teams? Well, they burned through Stinger a lot in those earlier rounds, but something you just said is exactly why we probably saw that. Each player starts with 1 million Technic Alloy. And if you want to focus on building out a weapon that you're like, this is what it's going to take to be able to annihilate all the other teams in the round, then we're going to burn through Stinger because we have those meds available to us. So maybe that's kind of what they were thinking, but we did see some teams go through them back to back in games 1 and 2. However, some were preserving Stinger for those later rounds. Other operators, like you said, that we saw go pretty much immediately, where I believe 2 out of the 6 teams decided, hey, we want Nox for our operator that just gives us a lot of the silent potential, right? Our flanks. We just really want to be destructive in our engagements going up, and they kind of burned that. But we also saw teams prioritizing saving them for the later rounds when the Mando bricks were spawning. So it's tough when you think about people on your roster, because not only do you have to have them having amazing gun skills, you have to know that they can flex and play on any operator and adapt to anything that is happening through our 6-game series. Not only the maps, but all the Mandel bricks and all the different nuance. God, this Delta Force, I love you. I see what you're doing. You're making me happy. My brain's spinning.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.